Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever seen something that just made you question everything? That made you stop and go, wait, what was that? It could be a weird flicker on a screen, a strange shadow in a photo, maybe even what feels like a glitch in reality itself. Well, today we are digging into some of the most bizarre phenomena ever caught on camera. Are they proof of the impossible or just really clever tricks? Let's find out.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a video that absolutely broke the internet because, well, it seems to capture the impossible. We're in Porter, Texas, back in 2019. This guy leaves his house and everything looks completely and totally normal. But just watch. He stops, freezes for a second, and then, in the blink of an eye, he's just gone. There's a little flash of light, and he literally vanishes into thin air. I mean, it is a stunning piece of footage, right? It seems to defy all logic. Did we just watch someone teleport? Now, before we get to the bottom of that, let's look at another case that suggests reality might not be quite as solid as we think it is.
This first set of stories, well, I like to think of them as glitches in the matrix. Those moments that get caught on camera that they just, they just don't make any sense.
So in 2017, a woman named Erica Garner had her security camera capture this really bizarre blue flash in her kitchen. But here's the thing. For Erica, who was standing right there, it wasn't just a flash. She said it felt like time itself stretched out, like it warped around her for what felt like a full 7 seconds. Can you imagine that? Of course, investigators looked into all the obvious stuff. They ran a test, and a blown light bulb looked totally different. The weather radar was completely clear, so no lightning. And we can actually hear Erica react on the tape, so we know it wasn't just the camera freaking out. This left experts scratching their heads, speculating about everything from alien encounters to, get this, a literal time glitch in the fabric of the universe. Okay, so with that mind-bending event in our back pocket, let's circle back to our man who just vanished from his own front walkway. Could he have been caught in a similar glitch in reality? So what is really going on here? Well, the answer isn't a glitch in the matrix, it's a glitch in the camera. You see, doorbell cameras have to save a lot of data, so they don't record every single frame. The software kind of predicts what's going to happen next to save space. And in this case, the software just messed up. It totally failed to record the man walking away, so to us, it just looks like he disappears. A perfect accidental illusion created by a bit of code. So we've seen how technology can accidentally create these incredible mysteries. But what happens when the mystery feels like it's coming from a more supernatural place? In a small Spanish village back in 1971, a family made a seriously chilling discovery. A human face had just appeared on their concrete kitchen floor. So they did what anyone would do. They destroyed the floor and poured brand new concrete. But a week later, it was back. And this time, it wasn't alone. And here's where the story gets even crazier. Investigators found out the house was built right on top of a forgotten cemetery from the 1800s. Now, the paranormal theory is pretty obvious, right? These are the faces of the spirits buried underneath the house. But skeptics have a more down-to-earth explanation, a really clever hoax. They think someone used something like bleach, which could create the stain, but would then evaporate, leaving zero trace for investigators to find. And sure enough, despite tons of tests, no paint was ever found. But they couldn't prove it was a hoax either, leaving this as a truly unexplained phenomenon. You know what's really fascinating? It's when we think we see something impossible. Not in some grainy video footage, but in art that's hundreds of years old. Are these clues that time travelers have left behind? Take a look at this painting from the 1860s. At first glance, it is so easy to see a woman totally absorbed scrolling on her smartphone. But art historians are quick to point out that she's actually holding a small prayer book, a totally normal object for that time. And what about that thing that looks exactly like the Sputnik satellite in a 1600s fresco? Turns out it's a creation globe, a symbolic sphere with scepters. It's really just a classic case of us seeing our own modern world reflected back at us from the past. Sometimes the most mind-blowing phenomena don't come from another dimension or some elaborate hoax. Sometimes they come from the absolutely bizarre and beautiful laws of nature itself. This brings us to a place that looks like it's straight out of mythology. Over in Tanzania, there's a place called Lake Natron. It's so full of volcanic ash, specifically sodium carbonate, that its water is incredibly alkaline.
And this water will literally mummify any animal that dies in it, preserving them perfectly, like they've been turned to stone. But hold on, here comes the twist in the story. Those famous haunting photos of the calcified animals, frozen in these dramatic, lifelike poses, the photographer later revealed that while the preservation was all nature, the poses were all him. He found the animals washed ashore and carefully arranged them to create his art. So it's nature's strangeness just enhanced by an artist's eye. Now, this idea of nature creating art can also explain one of the most baffling home videos out there. A woman in England woke up one morning and thought she was looking at another dimension projected right onto her bedroom wall. The real answer, though, lies in a really simple ancient principle of light and optics. So, no, it wasn't a portal to a parallel universe. What happened was a tiny, tiny gap in her blackout curtains created a perfect natural pinhole, and this projected a flawless, upside-down image of the houses across the street onto her wall. It's a beautiful, completely accidental demonstration of physics known as camera obscura, which literally means dark room. Okay, our final case is another viral sensation, one that really does look like a gateway to another world. This video of a hiker who appears to walk straight through a mirror out in the middle of the woods, it looks completely impossible. But it's actually just a beautifully done bit of sleight of hand. See, he approaches at just the right angle so his reflection doesn't show. Then, as he passes through, he quickly rotates the mirror, and a clever little video edit cuts out that tiny movement. The result? A perfect and totally mystifying illusion. So where does that leave us? Well, we've learned that our own technology can fool us, that nature is way weirder than we can even imagine, and that, well, sometimes we just see what we want to see. But we've also learned that some mysteries, like those faces in Belmez, just refuse to be solved. And maybe that's the point. The world is a mysterious place, and it's up to us to decide what's real and what's just a really good illusion. What do you think?